Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Umineko When They Cry episode 2. So last time Beatrice, right, she showed herself to Rosa, to Maria, to Kyrie, to Genji, right? And Genji was also expecting her. So that was a very interesting episode, right? Beatrice doing that, and yeah, we had another, I guess, another scene with Rosa and Maria doing their daily mother and daughter bonding. All the time that happens, man. I don't want to see that again, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, let us continue and let's see what happens today. So we are with Canon, right?
昼食をお持ちいたしました。入れ。失礼いたします。
She has her own room now. I mean, Beatrice. After receiving approval, Canon entered the VIP room, pushing the serving cart that carried lunch. The servants called this room the rich's VIP room. That was because Kinzo strictly ordered that it always be kept clean so that it could be used anytime. Even so, guests would not be allowed into this room no matter who they are. That's why at some point, they had started calling it the VIP room, which was supposed to be set aside only to welcome the special person Kinzo waited for. The witch from that portrait. And today, Canon realized that this was absolutely true. When he entered the room, the blonde-haired witch was gazing out of the window. It's a pretty nice room as well. You got the bed on the left side. You got some tables and chairs. Outside, the rain was no longer falling weakly. As she looked out at the beautiful rose garden, which had been tended to over several days for today's sake, as she saw the winds and rain ravage it, was she struck by some sentimental feelings? Kanon was not able to tell anything more from her back, which faced him.
お食事の用意をさせていただきます。ベアトリーチェ様。
Kanon went out of his way to call out the witch's name, hoping that she'd turn around. He wanted to know. He wanted to know if the witches who tempted him and Shannon in the past had really appeared again. When he did, the witch whose name had been called laughed, her back still facing him. Holding back her voice, she laughed. Kanon was startled. It was almost as though she had read his mind and knew that he had been or had called out to her, hoping to make her turn around.
良い匂いだな。どうやらクラウスは良い料理人を入れたと見える。
はい。近年入ったゴーダという料理人です。
料理の腕が良きことは何にも勝るものよ。美食は人の世で生きる快楽の山中をなす。千年を飽きぬにはこれを欠かさぬが秘訣よ。
Kanon and the witch's eyes met. Then she grinned. Without a doubt, certainly, this was clearly the witch from that day, Beatrice. The witch that no one but he and Shannon could see in the past finally held a form and had arrived openly as a guest through the entrance hall.
ベアトリーチェ様。
久しぶりよの。家具のカノン。
Kanon the furniture.
お久しぶりでございます。
Kanon tried to remember to be polite to this guest for the time being, but the visit of this suspicious witch made dark clouds start to enshroud his heart, especially considering that today was the family conference.
何をしに現れたのかと気が気でならぬと見える。 そうであろう。
Kanon didn't force an answer. This witch probably reads minds. So it's pointless to go to the trouble of saying it aloud. Of course, she could read even his inner resistance. So the witch giggled at Kanon's childish defiance.
金蔵との最後の約束を果たしに来た。
親方様との最後の約束。
わらわは金蔵に山をなす黄金を貸し付けた。それを金蔵が放棄するとき、わらわは利子をつけて返却を受けることになっておる。今宵それをもらい受けに来た。
僕には何の話か分かりません。
However, uncertainty began to gather in his heart. Whatever this witch had to say, it couldn't be any good.
違いない。魔女の話にろくなものはないぞ。そなたは正しい。されど魔女とハサミは使いようだ。ソロモン王のように偉業を成し遂げる者も時にはおる。最も多くの場合は童話が語るようにろくな目には合わんがな。しかし金蔵も食えぬ。わらわの利子の取り立てすらも自らの儀式に取り込みおった。わらわをも超えるとてつもない大魔術師か。さもなければ狂気に取りつかれたただの知れ者か。面白い。実に面白い。
Kanon couldn't guess what the witch was muttering and laughing about. All he knew was that anything that made this witch laugh must have had the exact opposite meaning for everyone else. And in the back of his mind, the horrifying words the witch had spat at him in the past began to resurface. What did you think? I lend you my power and ask for nothing in exchange? I'll gladly assist a pair in love, and in exchange, I'll enjoy watching the cruel fate they'll eventually meet. Yeah, this was in... what episode was this? But yeah, or what part was this? But the early parts. When we were seeing her like this, right? Like she was good another part, and then she was like this mocking in another part, right? Beatrice's behavior changes for some reason. Not for some reason, but from time to time.
まさかお前は。
Maybe in this episode it's gonna be a little bit different, right? In the first one it was Shannon who died, right? Maybe this time it might be George, right? And yeah, we will see. We will see.
懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川、黄金鏡を目指す者よ。これを下りて鍵を探せ。
The witch suddenly began to recite a bizarre poem. It was something he remembered hearing.
それはまさか魔女の碑文。
There was no mistake. It was the epitaph that accompanied the portrait of which Kinzo had put on display. Their relatives had guessed that it referred to the location of the hidden gold, but no one knew what it meant for sure. The witch suddenly began reciting the epitaph.
カノン、家具である貴様なら聞 金蔵から聞いていよう。すべてを黄金鏡へ返す日がやってきたのだ。喜ぶがいい。お前の恥辱にまみれた家具の日々がようやく終わる時がやってきたのだ。お前はそれをずっと望んできたはず。自らに存在価値を持たぬ家具にとって、ただ存在するだけの日々は苦痛に他ならない。魂ある者にとって、写しよは固執すべきものだが、亡き者にとって写しよは苦害でしかないからのう。
Complicated expressions flitted across Cannon's face. This was the day of release that Cannon had been looking forward to. However, the coming of this day had been mercilessly sudden, and for some reason he didn't like the hateful tone used by the Switch as she informed him of the coming of this long-awaited day of rest. Cannon couldn't even decide what emotion he should be feeling.
なぜに喜ばぬ？それとも、写しよに何かの未練があるというのか？家具の分際で。
未練などない。僕は家具だから。
貴様は実に模範的な家具だな。よいよい。しかし、何の未練もないとはつくづく面白みのない。
未練こそがお前の快楽だというのか。
その通り。1000年も生きると大抵の魔女は生き飽きる。わらわは退屈から逃れるために人間たちの運命にブランデーや果実を練り込み、ケーキのように焼き上げるのだ。
But seriously though, like is it nice to live 1,000 years? I mean, I guess when you look at it, right, you're gonna be seeing different kinds of, I guess, civilizations for 1,000 years, right? Rise and fall of cities and all of that things. But it's kind of sad as well, right? Because yeah, the people you meet, they eventually, yeah, they will die, right? And you will never see them again. And yeah, you get tired of life, as she says here, right?
オーブンの中で苛烈な運命に踊る人間たちのなんと面白きこと。わらわはこの方面にかけてはちと知られていてな。
But I want a conversation with Ava and Beatrice here, and then both of them mocking each other, right? That would be hilarious. But I think when Ava sees Beatrice, she's gonna, what do you call this? She's gonna have a little step back here. She's gonna be surprised. But if she's not like that, for example, and then she tries to mock Beatrice, that would be very nice to see. Yeah.
わらわの料理の腕を見に、時には遠方から珍客が見物に来ることすらあるくらいよ。言っても家具ごときには理解できぬか。
Kanon couldn't understand what the witch was saying. However, he fully realized that this was a terrifying being who treated the fate of humans as a show, enjoying it whenever some harm befell them. However, furniture has no soul or life, much less a fate. Pitiful furniture does nothing but serve until the day they're released from the real world. To furniture like that, the witch who had come to release them from everything was a being to be received with overflowing affection. Even though the day Kanon should have been waiting impatiently for had come, he was confused by his own inability to accept it easily. Why was it? The face of Shannon, the person he loved as a sister, rose to his mind. And for some reason, Jessica's face did too. I mean, he cares for those, right? And then Beatrice is saying like, I'm what do you call this? I'm not gonna give my power without anything in return. So the in return that's gonna happen to Shannon is a cruel fate, right? So yeah, Kanon is worried about that thing that might happen. Kanon bit his lower lip hard enough that it hurt. Thinking about Jessica like that was something furniture must never do. Even though he thought he'd known that even though he'd complained about Shannon's relationship, why was it that Jessica rose into his mind at a time like this? He's becoming a real boy now. He's becoming a human. He felt a little shameful at his own naivety. And to forget about Jessica, he turned his thoughts to Shannon. Shannon is also furniture. She has no reason not to rejoice at the coming of the day when all will return to nothingness. But Shannon, through her relationship with George, has experienced an emotion forbidden to furniture. Even though she isn't qualified to have been bonded with him, she's still trapped in a dream that she isn't allowed to have. Will Shannon be able to joyfully accept this development? No, she won't. Shannon still has lingering regrets. Those will probably become a great source of pain and torture for her. And those lingering regrets were planted by none other than this witch. Why? Because the world, or because that would be more interesting and nothing more.
シャノンは待ちわびていたはずの日に知ってはならない感情を持ち、とても辛い思いを強いられるだろう。僕たち家具を解放する日を手土産に訪れてくれたあなたに感謝する。そしてシャノンにその日を受け入れがたくしたお前を憎む。
お前もシャノン同様に未練に苦しませてやりたかったぞ。しかしお前は愚直に家具であり続け、わらわに籠絡されることもなかった。しかしシャノンを慕いすぎたようだな。シャノンの未練がそなたの未練となる。それはわらわへの憎悪へと変わるのか？わらわを殺したくば殺してみるがよい。金蔵の家具ならばその程度の力は持っていよう。しかしわらわを殺せば家具どもに安息の日は永遠に訪れぬぞ。そなたにそれが耐えられるのか？わらわによる解放を本当に拒むことができるのか？ひざまずけ。
何を？
ひざまずき、わらわの靴に口づけをするがよい。さもなくばわらわはこの場を立ち去ろうぞ。帰りて永遠に姿を現さぬ。のう、カノン。そなたはそれに耐えられるのか？黄金鏡の扉が開かれれば、そなたの苦難に満ちた家具の生は終わろう。望むならば、人間としての生を与えてもよい。
Honestly, when I see Kanon like this and then Beatrice, it reminds me of Pinocchio, right? Because yeah, Kanon always calls himself furniture, right? For example. And then the blue fairy is Beatrice, but in a twisted way. Like, look at this. I can even give you life as a human. And then the blue fairy gave... Pinocchio was still wooden at the beginning, but he had life, right? I mean, it's just hilarious to me, I'm not gonna lie.
さすればもはやジェシカとは対等。貴様も知りたいはずだ。恋の味が。隠そうとも知っておるぞ。甘き恋の沼にて溺れるシャノンを見てそなたは羨ましがっている。恋の味を知りたくてうずうずしておるのよ。
やめろ。やめろ。僕を再び籠絡するつもりか。僕はお前を楽しませるためのおもちゃになり果てたりしない。
ほう。ならばシャノンで満足するとしよう。まいた種はそなただけではないのでな。時には実を結ばぬ果実もある。鍵を手にせし者は以下に従いて黄金郷へ旅立つべし。第一の番に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよ。第二の番に残されし者は寄り添う2人を引き裂け。
The witch recited the epitaph again. It was so sudden and diverged so strongly from the current topic. However, the challenging smile made it seem almost as though she was using the epitaph as a threat against Kanon.
わからぬか？この碑文の儀式を成し遂げるには、第二の番に寄り添う2人を生贄に捧げねばならぬ。寄り添う2人は誰でもよい。夫婦でもよいし、恋人同士でもよい。誰を選ぶかは儀式のルールにのっとり、わらわが気まぐれに決めてよいことになっている。今のシャノンならこれほどふさわしい第二の番の生贄もないとは思わぬか？
卑劣な。
Kanon realized something. Until today, he thought he'd given up everything else and lived as furniture, acting like furniture. But in reality, that wasn't true. He loved the Shannon too dearly. Therefore, when Shannon was in pain, Kanon shared in that. If only Shannon had continued to live as furniture, indifferently like Kanon without any regrets in this world, he wouldn't have had to be in so much pain. The witch planned to toy with Shannon, who had known the taste of love, no, whom she had taught the taste of love as she killed her. She wouldn't be welcomed into the Golden Land and granted compassionate release. Instead, if the witch had her way, she'd be used as a sacrifice, subjected to the utmost torture and pain, and forcibly turned into a human foundation for this evil ceremony. And this witch would probably make Shannon meet this horrible fate for no reason or no other reason than it was amusing to her. Furthermore, she was threatening to do this so that she could make Kanon, whom he had never submitted to the witch, finally give in. It was simple. In the end, though he had tried to resist the witch and avoid pleasing her, he had only made things more amusing for her. After all, he was furniture. No, a toy. They were nothing but toys meant only to distract her from her boredom.
どうするカノン？ひざまずけばシャノンを生贄に選ぶことを控えんこともないぞ。お前のような玩具を一度屈服させてみたかった。
Without even a fragment of elegance, the witch sneered at Kanon and laughed indecently. That's right, she'd predicted Kanon's submission even before he'd made that decision himself. Kanon chose to get down on both knees in front of the witch. It didn't matter what happened to himself. However, the one thing he couldn't bear to see was Shannon, who had given him his only reason to live during his days as furniture being toyed with like this. That was why kissing the shoes of the witch was an easy oath for Kanon to make. When his quivering lips actually touched the witch's shoe, Beatrice let a look of ecstasy rise to her face, then laughed with a voice filled to bursting. At the moment, the witch, who had grown bored of her life after 1,000 years, was completely filled with the evil emotion that she had lived for. Are we still with them, or are we moving on? When lunch ended, the relatives moved to the parlor. Okay, I guess we're back with the Ushiromiya family now. But then Beatrice, man, like she just loves making fun of Kanon, right? My god. Rosa had bought a high-class brand of black tea from a famous store in Ginza that had been served, and the parlor was filled with a pleasant aroma. Since the children were there too, the adults tried to interact like normal relatives on the surface, talking peacefully about recent events and how their children were growing up. It had started raining, so the children couldn't do anything but sit here like this, watching TV, unable to go outside. Maria was apparently a TV kid. She sure is, yeah. When they were talking a lot in episode 1, Maria was just only looking at a TV, right? And everyone was talking like super seriously, while she was just watching. And she kept watching a boring daytime program without getting bored, giggling all by herself. I mean, she's still a kid though, even though, yeah, she says those witches stuff, Halloween. She's still a kid. At first, Butler joined in, seeming to deepen his relationship with Maria. But he had gotten up early that morning and was gradually hit by a wave of drowsiness.
おや、大きなあくびだね。朝がずいぶん早かったんじゃないのかい？
ま、そんなとこだよ。緊張が解けて、雨の音を聞いてるうちに眠くなってきちまった。
緊張あんだけ態度でかそうにしてて緊張なんてしてたのかよ。
You call freaking out like that tension?
一応、俺なりにはな。
Butler gave another great yawn and slowly lay down on the sofa. He really did look tired. George and the others had tried talking to him, thinking it was a sign of boredom, but when they realized he really was sleepy, they decided to let him be.
おやおや。食事の後にすぐ横になるとサバになると申しますよ。
冗談よせやい。ゴーダさん、今夜は子牛のステーキだって言ってたぜ。サバのステーキになっちまう。
But yeah, out of, I guess, all, let's go here again. The servants, I mean, when we saw Miss Lady here, Chiyo, right? She's the only one that I mean, Goda as well, I guess, right? But yeah, I want to know more of Chiyo, though. Yeah, she's old, so she probably knows a lot of stuff, right? It's gonna be interesting once we get to know more of this character, right? I mean, Goda, I mean, he has his stuff, right? Shannon Khan, we saw a lot. Genji as well. But yeah, I want to see more of Genji. Yeah, the older ones, right? The ones that were Kinzo with with him. I mean, way back then. I want to see their stories, what they saw, all of those stuff, right?
熊沢さん、こいつ本当に眠いらしい。毛布を持ってきてあげてくれないかな。
さあどうぞ。
Kumasawa brought a blanket over from the shelf. Then the large parlor wasn't cold, but the air had gotten a little chilly. So when Butler took the blanket, he immediately wrapped himself up in like a turtle.
本当に眠かったんだね。何時かに起きる？起こしてあげるよ。
いや、特に希望は。なんか用があったら起こしてくれりゃいいし。なんにもねえんなら、ずっと眠らせてくれりゃいいぜ。おやすみ。
バトラー寝ちゃうの？お昼寝マリアもする。こらマリア、バトラーは眠いんだから放っておいてあげなきゃ。熊沢さん、もう一枚毛布をもらえるかな。
It was doubtful whether Maria really wanted to take a nap. She probably saw Butler wrapped up in a blanket and wanted to do the same. When she received the blanket from Kumasawa, she joyfully wrapped herself up in it and set up camp again in front of the TV.
せっかく6年ぶりにいとこがみんな揃ったってのによ。こいつ今回の親族会議の主賓だって自覚全然ねえな。
This guy doesn't have a clue that he's the main guest. Yeah, because he was the one who hasn't been here for 6 years, right? So he really is, yeah, someone new, I guess, to the conference after this many years.
聞こえてるぞ。のんびり昼飯を食って、しかも外は台風で雨。何もすることがねえってことは、つまり、俺の出番じゃねえってことさ。
それはどうかな。何も起こらないから何もしないなんて受け身の姿勢じゃ人生は退屈だよ。
違うぜ。そういう意味じゃない。なんつうのかな。こういう時、俺はこう思うことにしてる。出番じゃねえんだよ。こいつがお芝居だったならさ、俺の出番じゃねえってことなんだよ。だったら、舞台袖でおとなしくしてるに限るってわけさ。
自分の人生はいつだって自分が主人公だろ。そんな脇役根性でどうすんだよ。自分から進んで舞台に上がらなきゃ。
そういう意味じゃねえ。今は俺の出番じゃねえって言いたいのさ。
I'm trying to say it's not my turn yet. So basically, he's gonna be the main character later on. But yeah, where's the other Beatrice and Butler, by the way? They haven't shown themselves yet. They shown themselves when the Oshinomiya family arrive, and then Beatrice say, let's do this, right? And let's start the game. And then afterwards, yeah, we haven't seen them again.
悪いな。眠くて思考がめちゃくちゃだ。勘弁してくれ。
確かに眠くてなんだか支離滅裂なことを言ってるね。もうそっとしてあげようよ。
私は聞き捨てならねえぜ。自分の人生はいつだって自分が主人公だよ。ちょっとそのあたり本格的にバトラーと議論したいけどな。
寝ぼけてるだけだよ。深く考えちゃダメさ。
なんかさ、自分は主役になれないから舞台に上がりたくないみたいな根性、なぜだかすっげえうぜえって思って。
With distant eyes, Jessica gazed out of the window at the gray rose garden obscured by rain. When she put her forehead up against the glass, the pleasantly cool sensation seemed to chase away memories she was trying to forget.
まだ 君の出番じゃなかったってことなのかい。じゃあ、いつ君は舞台に上がるんだよ。
In that case, who the heck is the main character on this stage? I mean, you got a lot of main characters, right? It looks like, yeah, it's gonna be Shannon. I think it's only Shannon though. Yeah, and, I mean George is probably there, but it's more on Shannon. And I think with all the scenes that we're getting with Rosa and Maria, probably both of them as well. Beatrice, right? Butler, maybe you'll have a lesser role, and then until this one happens, like I said, it's not my time yet, right? Until his time finally comes, and then he will be the main character again. But yeah, I think for the other ones, it's gonna be more on Shannon, more on Rosa and Maria. Yeah, those characters this time around. But yeah, unless Rosa dies. So unless Rosa dies. Okay, we're here. I'm just saying this.
もうやりたい放題じゃねえかよ。なんだこりゃよ。めちゃくちゃじゃねえか。
そなたがわらわを否定する根拠とする18人だの19人だのという理論が実に滑稽だったのでな。指し手を変えてみたまでよ。そなたがわらわを否定する最大の根拠は単にわらわが駒としてゲーム盤に並ばなかったからというだけのこと。ならばこうしてクイーンを先に指せばいいだけの話ではないか。初手にてクイーンに道を開けるはチェスの王道ではないか。
ふざけやがって。こんなの認められるわけねえじゃねえかよ。魔女が歩いて玄関からやってきただと。ふざけるじゃね
え。なんだなんだ。前回のゲームではそなたに散々自由に手を進めさせたぞ。こたびはわらわがそなたの手に合わせて駒を動かしたに過ぎん。初手にてもう降参か。
くそったれ。ふざけるな。誰が降参なんかするかってんだ。上等な指し手だぜ。好きに進めればいいじゃねえか。
Yeah, right now Beatrice is really winning.
なるほどな。まだまだお前の手番は終わってないってわけだ。好きに手を進めりゃいい。今のうちに十分な陣形を築いとく。俺が必ずしのぐ。必ず詰める。
Yeah, well, we'll do a counter attack later.
言い訳なんてされたくねえ。存分に来やがるってんだ。まだまだこの程度じゃ魔女なんて認められるわけがねえぜ。そうさ。さっきマリアのお菓子を魔法で直したように見えたが、実は同じお菓子をもう一つ懐に忍ばせていて、芝居がかった方法ですり替えて、あたかも魔法で直したみたいに見せただけかもしれない。
But yeah, look with Butler here. Every time he is cornered or yeah, pretty much asked, he's just gonna say like, oh, there's a explanation to that, right? It's not just magic. Yeah. But for Beatrice, her biggest move is the character itself, Beatrice being there, right? That is the biggest move she could have made, right?
ああ、そうさ、そうに決まってる。ダメだぜ。全然ダメだぜ。
Like the fact that the character is showing now in Orokinjima? Best move, at least for now.
ほほう。ローザは歌詞が蝶に散る瞬間を見たぞ。
知らねえよ。そんなのは幻覚か手品か。さもなきゃ見間違いだろ。
But yeah, for you guys though, I mean, maybe yeah, people who may be watching this already played the game, the whole series, right? But yeah, at this moment, what did you think? Did you think that it was magic? It was just a trick, right? Who knows? For me, I like both of it, honestly. Magic or a trick? I just like it both. Yeah, it's hard to say now, honestly, unless it becomes like super. I don't know the word, but yeah, I just like it both for some reason right now. I'm like I said in the ending of episode 1, I'm gonna be with Butler, but now with seeing all of these things happening right now, I don't know anymore. Yeah, it's like just Butler. Whenever you even if you show, for example, even if Beatrice resurrects someone in front of Butler, right? Butler is gonna say there's some explanation to that, right? It's not magic. He will deny it all every single time. Yes, even if Beatrice summons a whole building in front of Butler, Butler is gonna say, "Oh, there's some explanation to that." He will never believe it, right? Yeah.
大した問題じゃね
え。説明のつかぬ部分はさまつと切り捨てたか。なるほど、それがそなたの受け手であるな。墓穴を掘ったぞ、後宮バトラー。お前の手番はまだ先だぞ。もうしばらくわらわの手番を進めさせてもらう。まだまだこれからだぞ、魔女の手番は。
I guess the reason the title is The Turn of the Witch, because it's pretty much Beatrice's lead this episode, right? I guess she is gonna be winning here. Yeah, maybe that's why it says The Turn of the Witch this time. That was nice. I was asking where they were, and then they showed themselves, right? When they started hearing Butler snores, the relatives went their separate ways, leaving the parlor and letting Butler sleep in silence. Even though it had been so lively in the parlor with so many people gathered there, when all of them scattered at once and were swallowed up by the vast mansion, it created an eerie silence with no sound except of that rain.
いや、そんな人間には一度も会ったことはないぜ、兄貴は。
兄貴？
会ったことなんてないわ。キリエさん、本当なの？
Are they talking about Beatrice?
私もちょっと玄関ホールに出た時に挨拶をしただけです。20歳ちょっとくらいに見えたわ。私は名乗ったんだけど、彼女は名乗らなかった。源氏さんに案内されて2階へ登っていくのを見たの。
なら源氏さんを見つけて直接話を聞いた方が早いやろ。しかし妙な雲行きになってきよったな。
The mystery woman had spoken to Kyrie. Without naming herself, she'd sneered that Kyrie should have had a vague idea as to her identity. That brought someone to mind. And then there was her look-alike, the witch in the portrait. Did the portrait really change though? Yeah, did it change the look, I mean?
自分が肖像画の魔女様だとそう言いたいってのかよ。
私はそういう意味で笑ったんだろうと理解したわ。私とは初対面でも、私があなたの5歳だと知っているような口ぶりだった。
姉貴、本当にそんな奴は知らないんだな。
くどいわよ。
You talk too much.
そんな金髪女、この屋敷に出入りしたところなんて見たこともない。
そんなようなことはどうでもええで。問題はその女が自分はベアトリーチェだと名乗り、お父さんの財産管理人を名乗った場合の方や。
あるいは愛人の娘を自称して遺産の分配を要求するつもりかしら。いずれにせよとんでもないジョーカーが紛れ込んだものね。 兄さんが呼んだの？それともお父様が？
まずいな。俺たちは兄貴をうまく言いくるめりゃなんとかできるものと思ってきた。しかしこれじゃ話が振り出しに戻っちまう。
あなたが私の知らないところでどんな策謀を巡らしてたのか知らないけれど、どうも少しは対策を立てる時間を得られたみたいね。
ああ、その金髪姉ちゃんが晩飯の席で突然現れて俺らの度肝を抜くのに比べたら、今からわずかの時間でも対策を協議できる方がマシだ。
何しに現れたか分からへん以上、撃てる対策も限られとるで。向こうの狙いは何なんや。
決まってるでしょ。お父様の遺産の正当な後継者だと言い張るためよ。お父様は未だにベアトリーチェの虜なのよ。その娘がいたなら全財産を譲りたいと言い出すはずだわ。妙な遺言状でも突きつけてくるかもしれない。そりゃ裁判沙汰にすれば半分の4分の1は主張できるかもしれないけど、多分決着するまで遺産分割はできなくなるわよ。それは困る。私もルドルフも、もちろんローザもね。
俺たちはそれぞれの都合で早急にまとまった金がいる。俺たち最大のウィークポイントってわけだ。
Each one of us needs to gather money quickly for our own reasons. It's our biggest weak point. I guess so, right? I mean, they would do anything to acquire the money that they need, right? So yeah, I guess that is the biggest weak point for them. If Beatrice says, you gotta jump, I'll give you the money, they will do it, right?
なら、狙いは何だ?
They will do anything for the money.
キリエ、読めるか?
初耳なんだけれど、私たちには急ぎまとまったお金が必要だという前提があるのね。
キリエさん、男の商売には攻めの時にこそ軍資金がいるようになることもあるんや。それを分かってえな。
なあにルドルフ、キリエさんには話してなかったの？
Oh, he didn't really say it? Yeah, I was kinda like noticing it. Like, why doesn't Kyrie notice it, right? Or not notice it, why doesn't Kyrie know that her husband has problems, right? So she didn't really know. Okay.
すまん。隠してたわけじゃないんだ。
He didn't even say it to her. His wife.
実はちょいとした。
いいわ。あなたが私に話す必要がないと判断した話なんだから。それをこの場では追求しない。それよりキュームは黄金の魔女様の狙いを探ることなんでしょ？
ああ。俺たちの話を整理した上で敵の撃ってくる手が見えるか。
Rudolph had a certain measure of trust in Kyrie's unique thinking technique, chessboard thinking. Of course, it didn't give him any more peace of mind than fortune telling. But every time Rudolph was polishing up some important strategy, he'd give a great deal of thought to Kyrie's advice. For a while, Kyrie pressed her finger against her forehead, considering.
今日の今日まで彼女が訪れることが伏せられていた以上。
I guess Kyrie was the one who was talking about with Butler with this chessboard stuff, right? Yeah, even in episode 1 when they were talking about the 19th person, right? Yeah, she was the one who started this thinking of it like a chess game, right? Or something like that.
彼女は私たちに何らかのサプライズを与える目的があった。それが財産なのか、親族としての認知なのかは分かりかねるわ。でも今日の今日まで訪れることを伏せていたということは、 事前に知らせることで対応を打たれたくなかったと言えるかもしれない。ということは彼女の目的は対応を打たれると不利になるものらしい。わかる？
なるほどな。例えば親父が以前に書かせた遺言状そのものだとか、血縁の認知とそれを証明できるものだとか、そういうものを持ってきたと仮定して、それが揺るぎないもので盤石な証拠だというなら、むしろそれは予告するはずだろうよ。
そうね。むしろ疑う立場にある私たちに弁護士でも鑑定士でも連れてこさせて、グーの音も出ないくらいに事実を突きつけるべきなのよ。それができるならね。
つまり奇襲狙いという時点で敵は真正面からの正攻法では勝てんちゅうことを意味するわけやな。道理や。絶対勝てる切り札は堂々と切るに限るで。回りくどい切り方はむしろ切り札を曇らせるもんや。
結論から言うと、皆さんがご就寝の遺産問題に直接もしくは間接的に絡む相当のサプライズが突きつけられると予想されるわね。おそらく向こうはそのインパクトだけでこちらを圧倒できるつもりでいる。しかしその何かは相当のインパクトを伴いながらも絶対ではない。
つまりそこがこちらのつけ込む余地というわけね。
あんたはほんま頭の切れるお人や。これだけでも分かればだいぶ心強いで。つまり相手のペースに飲み込まれるなっちゅうことやな。
結局のところ非常にシンプルな結論よ。相手が何を切り出そうとも焦らず冷静に対応する。交渉術の初歩の初歩じゃない。これじゃあ相手の思考を読めたとはとても言えないわ。
いいや、相変わらずなかなかのもんだぜ。こちらに攻める余地があると分かれば余裕も変わってくるってもんだ。
わからないのは彼女とクラウス兄さんの関係ね。クラウス兄さんにとってもサプライズなのか、それとも彼女を呼んだのは他でもないクラウス兄さん自身なのか。もし後者だったなら随分と厄介なことになるかもしれないわよ。
そうね。謎の女を親族会議の当日にこっそり呼びつける。いやらしいセンスがどことなく兄さんっぽい感じもする。
姉貴、こうしよう。女の正体がはっきりと証明できない限り、俺らはその女のいかなる身分も認めない。
それが最善ね。現に桐江さんに対して名乗ってすらいない正体不明の女の発言で私たちの会議がかき回されちゃたまらないわ。
血縁証明でも示してみせるかもしれんで。お父さんの血が流れてることが例えば母子手帳でも示されたらどうにもならん。
証明物なんかいくらでも偽装を疑える。仮にそれが本物だったとしても当人が本人だと証明するには病院沙汰にしなきゃならん。少なくとも今の六軒島でそれを証明することは不可能だ。
その通りね。つまりこういうことよ。今の六軒島では何が示されても真実だと受け入れることはできない。台風が去って叱るべき場所で証明してみせるまで何も信じられないってことよ。
そういうので上げ足を取りまくるのは姉貴の得意技だな。任せるぜ。
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。 あんたも協力するのよ。私たちにはお金がいる。それも急ぎまとまった額が。私たちは運命共同体よ。こんなところでひょっこり現れた謎の女に遺産のあてをぶち壊されてたまるもんですか。
Rudolph and Ava always formed a united front as siblings at times like this, sickened by the idea that their own inheritance might be snatched away by an outsider. Kyrie noticed how indomitable they looked, shook her head slightly, and gave a small sigh as she gazed out the window. Outside, it was still raining heavily and everything was gray, having lost all vibrance. The lush garden that the sun had shone on earlier now felt like a lie. For some reason, the words Ava said a second ago kept repeating in Kyrie's head. So in other words, it's something like this. No matter what's shown to us now on Rokinjima, it can't be accepted as the truth. Do I need to believe this though? Do I need to believe this? No matter what's shown to us on Rokinjima, or now on Rokinjima, it can't be accepted as the truth. There was an odd nuance to those words. Yeah, there really is, right? We'll see. At that moment, the island was closed off by the typhoon and isolated. They had access to no public institutions and no hospitals. So on this island, and no matter what manner of proof related to the outside world was shown, it would always be impossible to call it a lie. It would be impossible to prove that something was the truth. Now that they were isolated from the outside, all truths whose proof lay in the outside world would be called lies. So does that mean that right now on this Rokinjima, no truth exists at all? It's weird when they're the ones talking about this, right? Not Butler, not the cousins, but yeah, the siblings, right? The older ones, the parents, I mean, they're the ones talking about this. Does it mean that everything will now be ruled by lies alone? It almost gives the illusion that we've left the human world of truth and have been shut away inside another world, one of lies. Kyrie remembered that woman's appearance one more time. She remembered both what she looked like and the witch portrait. On this island, which has been cut off from the world of humans and shut away in the world of non-humans, a non-human being has come to visit. Kyrie couldn't think of the smile that had appeared on that woman's face as anything other than the portent of misfortune. I get the feeling my chessboard thinkings missed a vital premise. One that'll be necessary to understand that misfortune of bearing smile. Yes, that smile made me feel as though someone inhuman was mocking me. I've based my reasoning on the assumption that our opponent is human, like us. So basically, she's like Butler. Yeah, she's like Butler. This is Kyrie, right? However, just like this island is now, she may be a being that isn't human, and human values may not matter to her. If that is true, all of our reasoning is useless. For what reason has the witch been invited here today? Only one thing is certain. Now, in this instant, she is staying somewhere in this vast mansion. I mean, she is though. Yeah, Genji acknowledged her.
マリア、今日のお昼にお外で私たち会ったわよね。
Dude, I mean, what do you think she would say? She would say she's seen Beatrice even though she wasn't there. The one you should ask is probably the other ones. But yeah, I guess she doesn't know that the other one saw Beatrice as well, right?
女の人に。あれは誰？
おお。何度も言ってる。ベアトリーチェ。
マリアは 以前にベアトリーチェと会ったことがあるの？
おう。毎年会ってる。
毎年？この六軒島のお屋敷で？
おう。
じゃわからないでしょ。そうなの？
うん。
いつから会ってるの？何年前から？
おう。わかんない。
わからない？どうして？去年？一昨年？
もっと前から。おう。
Rosa was astonished. Only in the Oshiromiya family mansion existed on this island. So there couldn't have been any other humans than themselves here. And yet Maria said she'd been meeting with the suspicious woman every year during the family conference. Okay. If what Maria said was the truth, then the strange woman called Beatrice had been at the family conference every year. That's the thing though. I did say that though. In the ending of episode 1 when we were doing the tea parties, right? Burn Castle said that I forgot the actual sentence that she said, but technically, like, was it Beatrice? But yeah, is not one woman or something like that, right? But yeah, with all this magic that we're seeing, it's just confusing. And then earlier, yeah, when Kyrie there, right, she said that not everything that we see in Rokinjima is the truth, right? I don't know. We'll just listen. Okay, let's just listen to the story here. That's insane. Is Maria saying that the eerie woman was at the family conference every year and none of us ever noticed it? Even though Rosa had just met the woman herself a couple of hours ago in the rose garden, she was overcome with a strange emotion that told her not to accept that existence. What in the world did I meet with her earlier today in the rose garden as the typhoon grew near and winds roared?
マリア、あなたは毎年彼女と会ってると言ったわね。会って何をしてるの？
お歌を歌ったり、魔法を習ったり、魔法陣の書き方も習うの。
そう。それはすごいわね。マリアがよく自由帳に落書きじゃない、魔法陣を書いたりしてるわよね。それも彼女に教えてもらったの？
ベアトリーチェにね、お手本書いてもらうの。ほらほら、見て見て。
Maria joyfully fished around in her handbag. Then she drew out a single notebook and began opening to that page. Most of the pages were covered with drawings that were literally scribbles. All of them were occult-like things. And while it might sound rude to Maria, who was joyfully flipping through the pages, they were all creepy. But imagine, right, your kid drawing all this stuff. My god, I mean, it will feel creepy.
ベアトリーチェが書いてくれた。
Isn't this all the symbols that we saw in episode 1, right? Yeah, from the beginning there, in the storehouse, and where was the other one? That in the base, was it in the basement? But yeah, all of it, basically. And this one earlier, right? Last episode. Each one of the pages in the group Mario opened had an eerie magic circle. Furthermore, at a glance, Rosa could see that Maria hadn't drawn them. The strength of the strokes and the thickness lines, how clean the shape was. By itself, it wasn't enough to guess that the background of the person had written it, but it was enough for Rosa to be sure that it was someone older than Maria. Rosa had to accept it now. There really was a person on this Rokenjime that she herself hadn't known existed until now. And this person had come to the family conference every year to play with Maria.
マリア、その魔女のベアトリーチェはここに住んでいるの？それとも私たちのように島の外に住んでいるの？
おう。ベアトリーチェはロッケン島の魔女だからこの島に住んでる。
じゃあ親族会議のない日にもこの島にいるというのに。
おう。
じゃわからないでしょ。どうなの？
おう。
What in the... I can't believe it. How long has this unknown witch been living on this island? I used to live on this island. I lived on this island passing the time in the mansion in the Rose Garden. And even so, I never encountered a witch like that, right?
Mama? Mama? どうしたの？ママ？
Why is everyone's head hurting now? It was always Natsuhi, right, in the first episode, and now Rosa as well. Didn't Kirie said this as well, right? She said that, oh, my head kind of hurts a little bit. I was probably getting a little mixed up with my memories from when I was a young girl. When I was young, I was terrified of the witch, unlike Maria here. So for me, the name Beatrice was a synonym for terror. Surely my fear from those days had been revived by the appearance of a woman going by that name. She can't be a witch. She's obviously a human calling herself Beatrice, right? That's right. That witch entrusted me with an envelope. What in the world could that be? Rosa, pulled that western envelope out of her pocket. It was one of the envelopes that bore the Oshinomiya family crest, which Kinzo used for his personal letters. And its red sealing wax had even been sealed by the head's ring, which Kinzo held. Which meant this envelope belonged to the Oshinomiya family head. In other words, it was from father. Why was a woman calling herself Beatrice holding it, and why did she give it to me? That's right. I'm sure she said to read this aloud at dinner. What in the world could be written inside this? A sense of uncertainty gripped Rosa. As if opening this envelope might let loose incredible misfortune. However, at the same time, a little curiosity spouted up too, urging her to find out what was written inside before the other siblings could. Using common sense, one might guess that it contained a huge decision somehow related to father's inheritance. Actually, since she'd received it from a woman who had called herself Beatrice, there seemingly had to be some connection. Does it mean that this person wants not just the 4, but a total of 5 people to be included in the inheritance? I need a large sum of money and I can't wait long. I feel like such a sinful daughter for discussing father's inheritance while he's still alive. But this is no time to spout out cheap ideals. And I even colluded with Rudolph Nissan and Evan Nissan in order to get some money out across Nissan. Coming from that position, I can't help but see the appearance of the witch as a sign of an approaching misfortune. What could be written in here? I'm sure it's something frightening. Shall I read it secretly myself first? The witch requested that it be read at the dinner table with everyone gathered. But if that's what she wanted, why couldn't she just read it aloud herself at dinner? That would be interesting though, right? Her showing up in dinner? That would be much more good. Why did she go to all the trouble of entrusting it to me? Simply put, is it because she doesn't mind if I read it secretly beforehand? I'd be better to secretly read the contents first. I understand that they mean breaking my promise, but this is no longer the time for cheap ideals. Depending on the contents, I should probably discuss it with Eva Nissan and Rudolf Nissan too. They're always really good thinkers when it comes to this kind of thing. When I gulped and put my hand to the red sealing wax, something suddenly pulled on my sleeve and I let out a small scream. Isn't that Maria there?
Maria なの。驚かせないで。
I mean, she was in too deep a thought, right? Did she forget that Maria was there?
何？
ダメ。
You mustn't. She knows. In Maria's expression was the same portent of misfortune she'd felt from the witch, and it sent a tingle up her spine.
ベアトリーチェはママに、その手紙は晩餐で読みなさいって言った。魔女の約束は破っちゃダメだよ。
違うわよ。ちょっと封筒を見ただけじゃない。約束は守るわよ。ママもいつもマリアに約束は守りなさいって言ってるもんね。ママももちろん約束は守るわよ。
うん。ママはいい子。
その笑い方可愛くないからやめなさい。
おー。
そういえばマリアも封筒をもらったわよね。中にはなんて書いてあったの？
開けてない。ベアトリーチェは開ける時が来るまで開けちゃダメって言った。だから大事に持ってる。うん。
そうマリアはベアトリーチェの言うことはちゃんと聞くのね。
うん。マリアはベアトリーチェの弟子だから、お師匠の言うことはちゃんと聞くの。
そう。
Rosa realized something. Mixed in what Maria's gaze was the glint of someone that wasn't her. If Rosa broke the rules and opened the envelope here, Beatrice would definitely learn of it. Because Maria was the witch's disciple. Maria was in contact with that witch.
ママは約束を守るわ。だから安心するようベアトリーチェに言ってね。
うん。伝える。
ねえマリア、ベアトリーチェとお話をしたいんだけど、どうすれば会えるのかしら？
知らない。ベアトリーチェはとても気まぐれだから、いつも突然姿を現すの。マリアからは会う方法を知らない。でもね、いつもマリアのことを見てるの。 だからマリアが困っていると後できっと助けてくれるの。きっとね、姿を消してマリアの近くに隠れてるんだよ。
その笑いをやめなさいといつも言ってるでしょ。
Rosa reflexively hit Maria on the head. That would have stopped the Maria's laughing, but it wasn't able to erase a color that had risen to those eyes, a color that seemed to bear a portent of misfortune. Rosa swore. She swore that at least until they left this island, she would not leave Maria alone. She couldn't allow an unknown being to make direct contact with her daughter any longer. "6 p.m. Furniture and people again? Why do we always have that?
戻ってこねえな。
Okay, so yeah, we'll take a break here. So honestly, for this game in general, for Umineko When They Cry, it is so confusing, man. Because yeah, you got magic, you got Butler and Beatrice on the other side, right? And then yeah, you also got them here. When you compare it to Higurashi, for Higurashi, it is pretty much a straightforward mystery novel, right? So no magic, none of those. And then when you see, yeah, it is creepy. Of course, it is also hard to understand what is happening. But when you compare Umineko to Higurashi, this one, Umineko, is much more hard to understand. Because you don't even know if it's magic or if it's just humans doing it, right? At least in the first episode, you could argue like, oh, maybe humans did it, right? Because we didn't even see Beatrice there, right? Until the tea parties. While here, in the second one, we see Beatrice, her appearing, right? Her doing, you could say, magic. And then her just basically appearing like, what do you call that? Oh, it's hard. What do you even say? But yeah, her magic of sometimes just appearing out of nowhere, right? Basically like teleporting there, right? But then we see Kirei earlier saying that, oh, things that we see in Rokinjima is a lie and stuff like that. But yeah, this is much more complicated is what I'm saying compared to Higurashi. Like Higurashi, it is just a village. You got them kids there. Bad things are happening. All that stuff, right? But here in Rokinjima, or in Umineko, I mean, things are happening. You don't know if it's magic. You don't know if it's real. You don't know if it's a human. You have a lot of questions, right? I really wonder how the question arcs are gonna work or is gonna work in this game, right? I cannot wait for that. But yeah, it's gonna be, I guess, a long time since we are gonna reach that answer arc, right? But I can't wait for that. I want to know what's really happening here, right? So yeah, I guess we will take a break and we are gonna continue this and do more of Umineko When They Cry episode 2 in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.